Hey guys, welcome to Kipoerneke's Corner. I am on Everquest Legends at the moment, and I'm in the Fallen. I'm currently on my Ogre form here, and I noticed that since last time I came on, we have a hotbar up at the top here. It appears to have my stances on it. I'm not sure if it has anything else on it yet or not. Looks like it's my stances for, well, I'm not sure what all we've got here. I've seen empowering invocation. So these are all new, logos going on here. But I think that these are, see, I thought they were all stances, but maybe they're not. I wonder if I can use them. I begin reciting the over-channel invocation, it says. Does that go through? No idea. How long does it leave? You can reuse it every 6 seconds. It says cast spells have a negative 150 resist adjust, plus another negative 15 for every non-hybrid caster class at a cost of 10% of the mana cost in endurance. Interesting. Then we have inversion invocation, shifts 2/3 of spellcast time into the global recovery time, and 20% of the mana cost into half as much in endurance cost. So, interesting. So I guess it's not just my stances, maybe, but certainly this is another kind of stance. This is the one that, oh, okay, I see what's happened. So they are all stances because that's over channel invocation. It just shows up as over channel on my little bar, so I'm going to change back over to recover. Okay, so these are all stances of one kind or another. Interesting. Alright, where am I? I haven't included. The map is not fourth. So, the one thing I can do, though, is fall into into my illusion form over here. Let's turn on the boots, make us go a little bit faster, and try to change our form. I think we have to come over here so that I can do that. Yeah, it wasn't letting me do it because I was crouched. It's one of the detriments of being an ogre that I find is that I'm too dadgum big for places like this, which leads to me not being able to cast when I'm in an ogre form. I have to change into some other form that's smaller. My understanding is that there's something called like shrink or something like that that will apparently make my ogre form itself smaller. Sounds good. One thing I note is that I did not change the difficulty level. I'm on difficulty level 2 apparently. Let's back up a little bit. Take pick. It says, hey, Helene, am I spelling that correctly? Indeed you are. Interesting. Helene, huh? Very interesting. Not a lot of people know that name these days. So, what I'm gathering from that, you're an EQ2 player? How's it going? Alright, so I seem to be spending a good bit of my time stunned. Take says, are you doing okay? They're going to tell you. Yeah, going fine. Except that I'm stunned. Constantly. Otherwise, fine. But, yeah, so, alright. We've got, failure to disarm yet again. Absolutely terrible to disarm. So far, I don't think that I've managed to disarm anyone. We're unfortunately, these guys are low enough level compared to me that it doesn't really seem to matter that I'm taking forever to kill them because they can't do very much damage to me. I do have a heal on this character right here. Half like a light heal as well, but I went ahead and took that off of the hotbar because it's a small enough heal that it's kind of irrelevant, and then the only reason I would ever need to use it would be if I just didn't have enough mana to cast the bigger one. And probably if I'm in that position, things are not going particularly well anyway. I also just remembered that I have this walking sleeve, which can slow down the attack speed of the victims. You just leveled, looks like. And got rooted or something. That's what you rooted them to. I've noticed this light blue color here and there in this area, which I assume that means that it's lower level than me and not low enough to be grayed out yet, but lower than blue. So it's maybe kind of on par with the green. Not sure. I do have a little bit of trouble in these areas because I guess I prefer to be a lot more zoomed out than this. And even as the skeleton, it's like I'm way too close. So, also, it's interesting that we really don't have a lot of room to fall before it says that, before it counts it as a fall. It's like I go like a single step down, and it's like, oh, you've injured yourself from this, or, you got a safe fall or whatever. Looks like I got plenty of folks on me now. Let's go ahead, I think, probably, and try to decrease some of these guys' hits on me. Maybe we can keep that guy back to the air. What if we try to intimidate old guy out there, and then got one of these folks here, Greater Dreadbone. Might work. And I'll throw in a root on this guy. I really have to figure out how to make tooltip stop being so immediate as soon as I mouse over something. It's like, hey, this spell does this thing, which is cool and all, but I kind of want to be able to see the screen a little more often. Try to disarm old Moltor over here. Fail at that again. One disadvantage of being in skeletal form is that I can't use slam. So my understanding is that because slam is a spell or an ability that is supposed to be used by a bigger creature on a smaller creature, if I have it, if I have my guy in skeletal form, it doesn't count anymore. Even though it's only an illusion, it must be a really good illusion because it cools my slam. now the alphas come running over to join the fray. I do like the fact that you can set things to auto loot or auto merge or that sort of thing, so that you don't have to continually say what you want to do with different things. Big Wilfred says, "Oh howdy, this is a cool combo. Can you turn your in-game sound down a little? It's hard to hear you sometimes in the battle music." I should be able to. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. So go here and options, and then let's see. We've got general options. We don't see it there right off the bat. Maybe we do interface. Controls. No idea. Maybe I can. There's system audio. There we go. Looks like music volume and sound volume. Do you happen to know if it is music volume that's loud or if it's the sound volume? Let's try turning both of them down a little. Let's go for 35% on both. Music? Alright, well then let's try turning the sound back up. Okay, let's see how that works. I pressed the wrong button there, meant to root him. I don't think it'll really matter since he's a mage. In fact, it may be beneficial for him to come a little bit closer. What I found is that with the gray guys, sometimes they'll attack you, even though obviously they're gray, without you doing an AoE or anything. But it seems to be when you're in a fight with something else nearby, and they're very recently grayed out to you. So maybe my last level grayed them out. Something like that seems to be the time at which they do that. See if we can get in here. Okay, I was able to. Now, I have attempted to pick these locks before, and it has not been effective because, well, I don't actually know why. It just seems that it tells me, no, you can't pick the locks. This is not a pickable lock, which is interesting. It's an interesting concept, a non-pickable lock. I feel like a lot of people would disagree with that statement. But so far, I haven't found a lock that was pickable as far as I can tell. Tremler says, "Undead tend not to care about your level. Not always, though." Interesting. Yeah, it's like, they only care when I'm attacking something else. Otherwise, if I just walk by them, they don't seem to be coming after me. But if I am in the vicinity and I attack something, then they do care. That's what I've noticed anyway. The Rangers seem to do a lot of damage, so definitely decreasing their attack speed helps tremendously. The Shadow Knights don't seem to be doing as much damage, at least not at this level, or these specific Shadow Knights. I have noticed that there are some of them that are dual class and things like that, and I think that may have started fairly recently. I wasn't noticing the dual class thing on the opponents until we got kind of deeper into the Fallen. I keep wanting to call it Fallen Gate, but the Fallen. Tremler says, "Oh wait, hold on." Big Wilfred says, whereabouts do you play from? US? I just saw your Hurley shirt, which I thought was an Australian brand, but turns out it's American. So, right, I play from Texas. US. And as far as the Hurley shirt, you know, to me it's just a shirt, nothing specific, but I understand that it's a skater shirt. From what I've been told. Trimler says, are you going to play on the pre-order beta? If so, have you chosen a server? I will be playing on the pre-order beta. I have a friend who's wanting to play along with me as well. Starting, I think, day after tomorrow, I believe. I don't know what server yet, but I will let you guys know as soon as I find out, because personally it doesn't matter to me which server it is, and so probably I will leave that up to my friend, and you know, she can tell me what server she wants to do at that time, or you know, maybe today or tomorrow I'll find out. Probably. How about you? You planning to? How are you? Are you all going to be joining for the pre-order beta, or are you going to wait until the game comes out? I did go and transfer some of my UI files into a separate folder with the theory that hopefully I'll be able to load my UI onto the thing whenever we go live. We'll see if that helps or not. That's crazy that you were able to see that this says Hurley. My goodness, I can't even see it. Oh, I must have been leaning back. Makes sense. All right, Trimler says Neriac seems to be the popular choice. Riverdale is the unofficial RP server. Also, a lot of streamers going there. Preport's been adopted by the Aussies. That's interesting. I don't have any idea. Okay, so other than role playing, what are the differences? Do we know yet? Like, why would one be a more popular choice than the others? Or is it just a pure preference based on nothing situation? Let's try rereading that Kipoerneke over there. No, Kahoptra. Kahoptra is a Taj, I suppose. Tremler says, no reason to prefer one over the other, just too many of us edgelords loving the Dark Elf hometown. I see. Gotcha. Edgelord, huh? Straight out of the 90s. I guess I should probably try to heal myself before I die. I don't know. Exoskeleton has fallen to the ground. I assume that's another player. So I wonder if they've gone unconscious or if they feigned death. I wonder if it says something different from one to the other. Feels like I do have something behind me. Like a fool. Let's go auto merge and loot on that. And then if only I could move. Okay, I see what's up. I've got a Shadow Knight. There we go. That ought to help. Trimler says all the US servers are going to be hosted in Vegas and the 2 EU ones in Amsterdam. Nice. So there's no regional preference. Very good. What's your, when you said too many of us edgelords, I take that to mean that you intend to start yours on Neriak as well, then? And do you plan to do it, or do you plan to do the pre-order beta as well? Trimler says not that you need low ping for EQ. Hopefully not. But, you know, who knows, as they add more things, what will happen, right? Trimler says, yeah, I'm going on Neriak. Cool. Good to know. I guess I'll kill the names too. Kind of forgot about it, I was just gonna run off. And then I should figure out how to make the hotkeys a little less excitable. Not the hotkeys, but the tooltips, actually. See if we can find something there. Maybe interface. So show item tooltips is on, and that's fine. I just would like them to be a little bit less interested in popping up. I guess I should, I can just turn off show item tooltips. And then, well, it's not even item tooltips, it's spell tooltips. That would be this one here. Could do hold alt for spell tooltips, but no. Hold on. That doesn't seem to help. Or wait. Okay, so this would be the spells and these would be the abilities. So, what if I do this? Hey, that looks good enough. I like it. Let's call that a win. That way, theoretically, if I can remember to hold alt, then I can see them whenever I need to and not see them every time that I mouse over the general area. Tremolo says I'm mainly wanting to go there because I'm pretty sure that will have the highest population. And with personal instances, that eliminates the biggest downside of playing on a high population server. That's true. I don't know how much bearing that has on what my choices are going to be. Like I said, really, I'll probably just go on whatever my friend is going to make hers on, and then not worry too much about it. I figure that you know, no matter which one it is, there's probably going to be plenty of people on it, at least at first, and who knows how that's going to settle out in the end, you know. There are a lot of things that I don't know about this game yet, for sure. Being as how I did not play Everquest 1, I'm at a bit of a disadvantage as far as having any idea what's going on long term or what will be needed and what won't be needed. In Everquest 2, it's very dependent on other players in a lot of ways for some things, like crafting, things like that, certain particular quests and raids and such. But, and I know that in Everquest 1, playing with others was very important in order to survive. But in this, you've got the solo play, the casual play, you know, and then you've got like groups and raids that you can do, but you don't have to do, apparently. So that's what I understand thus far. And how that's going to end up playing out long term, I don't know. Apparently my route did not take on that guy. Tremolo says the only downsides I can think of are 1, possible queue times. That's a big downside. And 2, if you're Ricky Bobby, you have to be one of those first to kill all the bosses. Well, you know, I guess I don't know. Would that make a difference? Do you think? I guess just because you would have less competition if you were on a smaller server, but theoretically you would also have more people to choose from, so you might be able to get a better group together. just because, you know, higher population gives more choices, right? Theoretically. I don't know. I would think that the queue times would definitely come into play, though. Looks like the guy I'm fighting right now is level 25 Ranger. And I don't think that I've seen any dual classes since I mentioned that there are some around, which seems about right. Oh hey, apparently my YouTube chat was not coming through earlier because I see that I have a message here. Order of the Hidden Isis, one more day, Ranger noises. Mr. Guynock is always such a bully. Yeah, he just comes out of the wall, gets you, you know. But fortunately, it's not that big of a deal. He's at this level, you know, he's not so difficult. Probably if I had the difficulty turned up, that would be a different story. But as it is, difficulty level 2 is not so bad. Shriveler says also maybe server stability, especially with all the development on QL. Much likely for a server, much likely for server crashes on high population server. Although I've heard very little about any crashes happening. The floodgates are getting opened, yeah, for sure. So far, as far as I can tell, the game's been very, very stable. Now, my stream has not always been 100% stable, but I think that has more to do with my internet than it does with anything else, and especially, like I said, I don't know, because the game itself has run perfectly fine. Haven't had any lag or anything like that, really. So I have no complaints in that regard. And as far as, like, you know, having crashes, I haven't experienced any crashes in any of the instances that I've been in. But then again, as you say, it's not nearly as high of a population in beta as it probably will be, I would imagine. In each instance, I'm not sure. Now, because I'm not super familiar with this area, I don't really know how deep or how to get very deep in here in Befallen. The area is very similar to Stormhold in Everquest 2. And so I have, you know, I assume as a result of that it's only 3 levels down. Plus, someone had directed me to a map not too long ago. And I believe it was 3 levels. Not 100% sure, but I think so. If I look on here, I can see that there's more this way, and there's somebody yellow down to the south. Everybody else here seems to be green, but there's something that may be yellow down here. And this is white, looks like Soldier of BER. And the yellow thing is, it looks like Baron maybe it's Telix, let's see. Baron Telix BER down here. I wonder if I can make a waypoint to it. I think I did. Maybe potentially that's what I did. Or maybe not. I put an X on it at least. Not sure what that accomplished. Okay, so let's try chaining down the Shadow Knight, hopefully, and then taking the Ranger along this way. And then maybe we'll get a little bit less damage incoming. Eldritch Ogre has started following. Thank you very much for the follow, Eldritch. Much appreciated. Rotax says use your tracking slash threats. Do I have track? Is that like an ability that I have, or is it something you can see on the map? Yeah. I could do search. I don't know that would help. I guess I better read up this ranger real quick before I get too deep into that. Trimler says bards get tracked. Bard ability, you have it unlocked. Is that one of the ones that's like an AA? Okay. It's a skill. Alright, okay. Oh, I guess I can't look at that in combat, huh? I forget that you have to like sit down or something to look at your skill book there. It's knowledge book. In Everquest 2, you can just kind of do that in the middle of combat. Not in the spellbook? Alright. So, it's not in the spellbook. Is it over here in skills? See if there's a track here. Tracking? My tracking is awful. Let's see, make hotkey. Let's try that. Put it down here. With my attack bar. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish this fight and then we'll look into that tracking business. Disarm failed as usual. I still haven't managed to disarm a single guy thus far. Up to 133 at the skill, however. I have intimidated people now and then, successfully. Apparently my ogre and skeleton are just much better at intimidation than they are at disarm. Makes a lot of sense. The bark is far worse than the bite, probably. Trimler says as you use track, it will expand how far you can see enemies on your map. That's cool. Now, I heard that some classes can see further than others as far as the little circle around you. The risky bit about using Intimidate is that if you send these guys running, then they'll kind of gather up other people to come and attack you. Okay, we got an piece of amber here. Let's go ahead and click auto merge and then move. Trimler says druids, rangers, and bards get tracked. Cool. One thing that I still haven't quite gotten used to at all is that in this game, when you get a new spell, you don't necessarily see it, or a new ability, and it doesn't like appear on your hotbar or give you any indication that you have it. You just have to kind of figure it out that you have it. Trimler says bards have a lower skill cap though, referring to track. Interesting. So tracking in this game lets you see further on the map, you say, or the enemies, and also does it give you the whiz to take you to the guy? I guess we'll find out in just a moment, maybe. If I can use that tracking button, then perhaps we will see what goes on there. Okay, I'm gonna click track. Now, the guy I want is a name. I wonder if we can. Okay, so we can knock out people who are different colors to us. So I could do like this, and we would bring just that up. But if we wanted to add whites, we could do this. So it's very similar in that regard to EverQuest 2. And I can work with that. We want Baron Telix or Telix Vizur. Let's go ahead and click track. Behind me and to the right. Yes, I knew that. It doesn't really seem to be doing anything more than what the map was doing. I'm not getting a wisp, unfortunately. Let's try going through this door. Trimler says if you have the map up and the track window, if you click on the name you want, Hold on just a second. Let me get attacked real quick. Oh, by both of them, cool. Let's see if we can root one of them and then back away, maybe to that wall. Let's try rooting the soldier, and then backing up, and then we'll try to decrease the attack speed here. It didn't really seem to work particularly well. The root it didn't last very long. But let's try to slow the attacks on the second guy as well. And then get some healing in here. So what Trimler was trying to say was, if you have the map up and the track window, if you click on the name you want, it will highlight where he is on the map. Yes, I know that. Okay, interesting, okay. I have no idea why I tried to disarm him right now. That was terribly foolish. Frankanon4450 says hello. Hello, Frank. I'm busily getting killed here in Befallen. Alright, let's respawn. Head back. Alright, the worst part that I've discovered about being killed. There's not a lot of detriments to being killed in this game, but the worst part of it is that you have to put all of your buffs back on, which honestly I probably needed to already put my buffs back on, but so wasn't paying attention to that as I should have been. But while I'm here, let's look and see if I have any new spells or I think spells or songs maybe that I am unaware of, because I did get a level, and I didn't look in my spell book after that, or my knowledge book, so who knows? So after I get all of these things cast, I also want to be sure to cast those boots. I keep thinking of them as journeyman boots, but I can't recall what they're actually. Boots of the long road. Because they increase your speed a little bit, and it does seem to stack with the BARD abilities that also increase your speed. So, just so you know, it's a little bit faster if you use the boots. And then I also want to turn myself into a skeleton, because it is much easier to navigate this area as a skeleton. I also want to click this button, which I've made it be my foraging button. It will also fish and lockpick. Now, what else was I going to do? Oh yes, boots and the skeleton. And then we want to switch back over to the adventuring bar. I have forgotten previously to switch back to the adventuring bar. That's a bad day for everyone. You definitely want to do that. Alright, should be ready to go now. I don't know if I have a key to the last door here or not, but I guess we'll find out. I don't actually know my way around here very well, so if it looks like I do, that is not the truth. I just wander around a little bit and normally fall down a hole or something, and then suddenly I'm where I need to be and all is well. It's been working out pretty well for me so far like that, except that I'm stuck on a door. The doors in this game are, boy, they're, you know, it's like when the lady says, I ran into a door, she was in Befallen. That's all you really need to know. Now, probably when I attack this guy, these gray guys are going to come, yeah, attack me like that. Because that seems to be the way they like to do. Trimler says, oh wait, hold on. Trimler says you could also use Shrink instead of Skelly Plum. Right. I've heard about Shrink. It may be a skill that I haven't noticed in my skill window yet there. Rotex says if you haven't tried stances or invocations yet, Berserker stance should be good damage unless you need the damage avoidance to survive here. So I tried some different things, and I found that having an invasive stance with the recover thing goes pretty well. It seems like I do better overall having those two on as far as survivability goes. Trimler says getting the maps would help a lot, and that is correct. Trimler says that Shrink should be a level 15 shaman spell. It's very, very highly possible. I may have just overlooked it because of the fact that that I had this this illusion that somebody gave me. I just accidentally killed the pet, which I was paying no attention whatsoever to what I was doing. But hey, it works. Level 15 shaman spell. I will try to look in the knowledge book in a moment. Okay, let's first remember to do the forage thing, and then let's have a look at Shrink. It's right there on looks at this first page, which is great because I sat down right by the gray skeleton. That's another thing that I found. In addition to attacking you whenever you are in a fight with something, sometimes the gray guys will attack you even if they're very, very low. If you've sat down, they think you're vulnerable and they come and get you. So keep that in mind, like I didn't just do, and do pay attention to that more than I do when you're going to be looking in the knowledge book, because in this game, it's weird. You have to sit down to read. I gotta tell you guys, I can walk and read. It's not that big of a skill, and I feel like if you can turn yourself into a skeleton and like cast spells to heal yourself and stuff, I just don't feel like it's that far of a stretch to be able to walk and read simultaneously. But what do I know? I've never cast a single spell, so alright. Let's see if I can find out what level. I didn't mean to try to delete it. Maybe if I click Alt, we'll find out what level. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Level 15 shaman spell. Very cool. Now, if I have on Shrink, will that cause me to not be able to use Slam like the skeleton does, or can we still use Slam if I have Shrink on? Maybe it's a good idea to check that. Maybe I do that in a little bit when my skeleton runs out. Let's see. Frank says, I'd like to help you with some good info, but I've never played a bard, and it's been a quarter of a century since I've been in Befallen. Like, I get it. It's rough. Rotax says, Bard song, Keelan's Lugubrious Lament is a calm/pacify you can use. Yes. To pull single and split enemies. Yes. I do know about that song. I don't have it on a hotbar yet. I was just amazed by the little guy he's got here, his little skeleton pet, because it looks like the aerial. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a pet in Everquest 2, kind of. That the conjurer gets. Is our elf skeleton a conjurer? Okay, look, he's got the dual class thing I was mentioning. He's a warrior mage. So, mage is like a. I don't know what mage exactly encompasses in this game. Obviously, mages get to summon because this guy has a pet. I don't think that the warrior gets a pet, so it must be that the mage gets a pet. It's interesting. Tremler says shrink wouldn't affect slam availability. You can even shrink yourself as a skelly too. Oh, that's interesting. Also, something I've found out is that if you're killing something that has a pet and you kill the mage himself and not the pet, then afterward you'll get stuck in combat just like this. You'll notice that my guy is still in combat. That's because it didn't kill the pet, and I did kill the guy. It thinks I'm still in combat. I have to click Q, and then I'll be out of combat. So, neat trick. Frank says, take care and best of luck. Thanks, Frank. Can't wait to play again on Wednesday. Hope to meet you guys in game someday. That'll be awesome, for sure. I will try to tell you guys what server I'm on whenever I find out. Trimler says that pet is a magician pet. I think that is the air pet. Yeah, see, that's what it was in EverQuest 2. It's that kind of shaped guy is a little air pet guy. Scout is what he is as far as class goes, I believe. The rogue one. Don't turn your back to it. Right, yeah. I know that it's good to keep the guys in front of you just in general, because certain ones can definitely do more damage from behind than they can from in front. So, that's one of the classes that's kind of nice to have stunned. I see that I've got quite a few guys on me here. So we'll back up a bit. And I'm gonna get... I think I want this Ice Boom skeleton first. Eldritch Ogre says, Mage is nerd. That's okay, I'm a nerd too. I don't mind. But yeah, so I have this here, this walking sleep, and it is good for slowing the attack speed of my enemies. So that's a nice one to throw on like the scout classes, but also the like the fighter classes as well benefit from a little bit of attack speed debuff. Eldritch says, I wonder if the water pet does backstabbing at any angle too. Backstabbing at any angle? No idea. I have no clue whatsoever. I would just recommend overall keeping everything from behind your back. It's advice that I wish I followed more regularly. Much easier to say than it is to do. One thing that I've done here that was also not the greatest plan was that I've been focusing on everything except for the Acolyte, apparently. And the Acolyte definitely needs to come down, because I don't know exactly what he is, but he's certainly a caster. Looks like he's a necromancer. And, you know, instead of being the last one that I'm killing, that should certainly have been the first, or one of the first ones that I killed. The Theurgist and the Acolyte both needed to go down, but, oh well. It's just not the way I'm doing things. Eldritch says, but you is good, Yupu is good nerd, actually. You not steal my pickled gnome. No, I have never, ever stolen a pickled gnome in my life, believe it or not. I know that's, it's tough, you know, it got all the way to adulthood. Not one single pickled gnome. I did, however, run out into a room full of people, because that's how I like to do things. Let's see if I can make more bad decisions. I bet I can. Let's start with decreasing the zombies' attack speed. And then I think we'll go with the mummy's attack speed, because that seems like a good plan. And I should be hitting the Theurgist in between that. And the rogue, he could use a little decrease in attack speed as well. And probably the ranger in just a second too. And then we'll try beating down the Theurgist for a second. And then we can start back over on the Scorched Zombie, hopefully after we kill the Theurgist, if all goes well. Trimler says, do you know about the secret wall near you? I know there's a secret wall, and there's a Shadow Knight behind the secret wall. And you can kill him to get the key to the next level. But as far as where exactly it is, I'm not sure. I kind of just ran, you know, I was using the map the first time that I found it that someone had shown me. And then afterward, I know it's right after some rock, it seems. Let's see, Trimmer says it's kind of being given away by your camera going through it behind you. Right, you would think so, except that it seems that sometimes the camera goes through walls anyway, whether they're secret or not. And then, Rotax, he seems to think that I chose or that I might have chosen anything because of some level of intelligence that I might have had, but in fact, I just chose it because I thought she was very, very humorous, right? The Ogre is hilarious. I found out later about the Ogre's ability of having a frontal stun immunity, and I thought that was super awesome, but no, I absolutely didn't know about it whenever I chose the Ogre. Yeah. I do intend to play this same character makeup on live and on the beta as well, the open beta, because so far I like it, and I definitely want to try it more, you know. Also have to remember to drink water occasionally or something. This is actually tea at the moment, but it does wear on one's vocal cords if one does not hydrate. Believe it or not. Ah, here comes another one to join the fight. Oh, it's Skynot and Moltor, of course. You're a friend of mine. He comes to play great distances. Now, what's happening here is I'm almost out of mana, so I'm gonna try rooting this guy, and then we're gonna try taking this ranger back this direction a bit once I become able to, and theoretically get out of the way of that guy, and also Moltor, but that's alright. We'll be fine. I'll just kind of preserve my remaining mana for the heals. It'll be no problem, I think. Except that I'm going to be being spawned on some more here very soon, I think. And that ranger is healing a little too quickly. So I'm going to see if I can beat him down with this, I can't think of the name of it, but it's the icy thing. Spirit Strike? Because I need to take out some of this DPS. Alright, we're in for it now. Only 2 mana remaining and the health is going down. Might make it through this. Who knows? Gonna try to decrease this one's attack speed. Probably would have been a better idea to use that opportunity to kill that skeleton, but hey, we're not making the good decisions here today. One thing that is very unfortunate is that I don't know that there's any kind of a dedicated detriment window as far as seeing what kind of detriments that you have on yourself in this game. There's the window right above your character information window there, but it tells you the buffs and the debuffs that are on. And what I would prefer really is to have a window that just shows the detriments, because there's so much stuff going on in that window that I have no idea what it is. Let's try disarming him again. Shockingly, it failed. See if we can slow his attack speed a bit. And then we can start casting some of these damage spells on him. I should have done Tainted Breath first because that's a dot. And then do the Spirit Strike afterward, but that's alright. Thank you for the follow, Cookie Monster. Nice name. Alright, let's auto-merge this ring here. We'll click auto-merge here, and then we'll just loot it. And I think that after that, it will auto-merge it whenever I run across that. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, look, the zombie's back. Guess we'll do something about that. And then click on the zombie. And we'll try to, the acolyte, that's the word. And try to see if we can kill him real quick. Unfortunately, I'm still low on mana from the last fight. But I think it'll be okay. Even if the elf spawns behind me, not too worried about it. I definitely do need to have another bar for like lull spells that, you'd mentioned that one, and I've been told that they're called lulls in general. And I think that I should have a bar just for that kind of thing, so that I can easily switch over to it and back. Rotex says, Bard Song, Largos Melodic Binding may be a good one for the multiple ads. Largos Melodic Binding. PB AoE Slow. I think it will even work with Symphonic Aura. Alright, so I understand AoE, but I'm trying to follow you with PB. What does PB stand for? It's probably going to be really obvious, and I'm going to feel like a fool, but that's alright. I don't mind. I felt like a fool before. I can do it again. Let's see here. Oh, yep, there it is. The wall that isn't. So I knew it was right after some kind of rock. I must have been thinking of that rock right there. So that's cool. Point blank. Okay, I got you. That's cool. Okay. Now I saw something that goes off periodically. Oh, interesting. We've got two different interpretations. Either of them work fine. So Rotex says it's point blank and all enemies in 30-meter radius, and then Dan Slee says player-based. It's based around you, which either one of those can work for the understanding of it for sure. That's cool. I wonder what the throne here we have is all about. Interesting. But this is definitely where the Shadow Knight is. To be able to go deeper in, you have to kill some Shadow Knights around the zones. And so this is where one of them is, and I think this one only gives keys for a couple of the gates, but it's like gate 3 and 4 or something like that. And Dan says versus targeted, range, etc. Okay. So, alright, that makes sense. Player-based area of effect. Is there then also like a target-based area of effect? So you could hit some target, and everything around that target would get damage. So Reigns I'm assuming, is that like a positional thing, like you do something in an area of effect, but it's like a location based? Is that what a rain is? Like you're like, okay, here on this point here we have this rain happening, or how does that work? Dan says, yep, a lot of the quad kiting spells are targeted AoE, 45 targets, or people using range for that purpose, but they act different. Okay, so if you were to say target an enemy and you put one of these things that's a rain, or no, like a target-based AoE, then you could theoretically run around and gather a bunch of guys up and sort of just train them, which kiting around the place. And they would continue to take damage over time as you run them around. I would assume this would be something that maybe a scout would be more interested in doing. Dan says, yep, if you... I guess I should pay some attention here, huh? After you use rain on one target in place, it gets hit 3 times. Okay. Haha. Getting piled up on it. I suppose I better probably decrease some of this DPS being dealt to me in a second. How's about we back up a bit, and then start making them hit me a little bit less hard. It's 2 targets standing in place. It hit each 2 times. Nice. Let's get one on Moltor too. If they move before the 2nd or 3rd hits, it won't hit them. Okay, so you definitely don't want to train them if you're raining. Attack, or hold on. Dan said something else too. If you had 4 or more targets, alright, if you had 4 or more targets and cast a rain, it would hit them all in one wave. Rotax says rains. I think a druid thing, mostly maybe wizards. In classic EQ, a rain and target area will hit the caster if the caster's within range of impact. Oh, that's not good. So you can actually, you can damage yourself. You can have like friendly fire from the rains. Is that what you're saying? Dan says, yep, wizards and druids are only rain casters as far as I know. I think mage might get them 2 now that I think of it. Interesting. Let's throw a dot on that scorched zombie over there. Dan says, I think mage can get them 2 now that I think of it. I read that one. Yes, rains can hit you, but same with targeted if the target is close to you. Interesting. Self-harm damage indeed, says Rotax. Player-based AoE won't hit you. That's good. That's wonderful, because otherwise it would be a little sacrificial effort there. Like, ah, yes, I'm going to put this AoE on, but I'm also going to die. I gotta have a healer along for that one. I have more faith in my spirit strike than I ought to. I kept switching before it was done, thinking it would finish the guy off, but Unfortunately, that was not the case. Now here's a question for you guys. Is there any way to level up the spells? Like, is there a ranking system whereby we could increase the spell damage of individual spells? Or songs, or abilities, or anything like that? Probably not the best idea for me to have gone into battle right away. But that's okay. I'm down with it. Dan says, also, PB AoE in regular EQ is unlimited targets. Wow. In EQL, it's maxed at 8 for all of them. That would make sense. Certainly. Auto merge in the boot. Vertex says the pesky zone kiting bard's getting it nerfed, lol. Well, yeah, sure. I mean, it makes sense though, right? If you had something where you could just be damaging all of the things, is it the same amount of damage to each creature? Like you're just getting this across, or does it get split between how many creatures there are to get damaged? I'm assuming it's a certain amount of damage across the board, right? Dan says you can use moats to level up spells since patch earlier today. Awesome. Yeah, it said they had that effect on Enchanter, though. Okay, so Enchanter, in EverQuest 2, there are enchanters as well. But you've got like an illusionist and coercer. So one of my questions is, do the enchanters in this game get pets as well? Can they enchant another creature that they're fighting and then they have a pet? Eldritch says, what I saw was yes, you can upgrade spells with moats. Okay, cool. Dan says, same damage to each. The risk to make it efficient DPS is very, very high, though, to try and pull off without a barb. Yeah, imagine. Yeah. So here is a skeleton hanging out. Now, I've tried body pulling in this, like you can in EverQuest 2, and it just doesn't really seem to be a working thing. It seems like as soon as the guy aggroes, he's getting on you, and everyone else around him is as well. In this case, there was just the one here, so it doesn't really matter, but in some cases, there are multiple guys, and body pulling, don't know, I just haven't done anything effectively with it. Now, like you said, there is the lull spells I could use to get just one guy, but that only works if you have lull spells. So if you say you were a fighter class, and say you went like fighter, mage, like fighter, mage, and then like a DPS scout, like say a rogue, then would you be able to body pull, or would you just have to take it? Dan says they get a paladin pet, and they also can charm, but only one pet at a time. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And the enchanter pet is not like an EQ, where you can't control it, and it's not a real pet. It's very real on EQL. Okay, so on EQL you can control it, but on EQ1 you cannot. Is that what I'm hearing? I've not done any pet stuff on this game yet. In EverQuest 2, you can tell the pet to do all kinds of things. So back off, assist me, assist someone else, attack. You know, just you have a lot of control over the pet. You can have it stay in a location, things like that. I don't know how that compares to here. Dan says, yep, in EQL it's just like a mage, necro, beast lord pets. Eldritch says, I can't decide. Berserker, druid, ranger, or paladin, ogre. Troll. So, if you were going to be an ogre or a troll and you were going to be a paladin, are you thinking like berserker, druid, and then paladin that's an ogre or a troll? Dan says, yep, that's how Enchanter Pet is on EQL. Okay, cool. That's good. I do like a pet now and then. Dan says, cleric, monk, rogue is my plan. Cool. I've really enjoyed the berserker, bard, shaman so far. It's been fun. I have nothing to compare it to, so you know there's that. But it has been fun so far. Oh, cool! I clicked the wrong button entirely. It's very good. Just trying to keep these guys' attack speed down a little bit so that I don't get into any sort of situation if I get piled up on things. Now, Dan, are you in the beta right now? Eldritch says Berserker Paladin combo can get Lay on Hands recast to 75 seconds. That's why I'm considering it. So, I don't know how Lay on Hands performs in Everquest. In Everquest 2, there's also, I believe it is called Lay on Hands in there as well. And it's a good close range healing spell. Single target. Dan says if he tries Berserker with Rogue and Monk and other melee ability classes, it's supposed to lower their recast times in Berserker mode. Nope, not in beta. Impatiently awaiting pre-order beta and launch. Nice. Now, I know that if you guys pre-order, you can also reserve a name, so if you have a name in specific that you're trying to keep, it might be a good idea to do that. If you're planning to play online, then reserving a name now might be a good idea. If, you know, depends also on how common of a name you have. Eldritch says it's a huge single target heal. Cool. Rotax says that Lay on Hands is very powerful right now by what I see, especially with the synergy with Smite AA. Smite is also in EverQuest 2, but I feel like it's not a paladin spell, it's a healer spell of some kind, I can't recall. Dan says, yep, Rotex Pally is really good. Rotex says, where do you reserve it? I didn't see an option when I pre-ordered. I believe that you get to reserve it on July 1st in the, like when you do the beta thing. That's what I think. I cannot say for certain, obviously, but Dan says, I'm skipping the Tink though and getting my plate from Cleric, LOL. When we play pre-order beta, we can sign up for your name. Yeah, that's what I understood. Pirate says, evening from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, good evening, Pirate. I'm sitting here watching my favorite YouTuber person. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Rotex says, Smite is a damage plus stun. When you land a Smite on target, it lowers reuse of Lay on Hands by 60 seconds. That's pretty good. And then Dan says, Smite is a new ability that lowers the timer for Lay on Hands. Shadow Knights get a version for their HT, don't know. But Lay on Hands is much more powerful. Alright, what's HT? You gotta learn me on these abbreviations. Some of them I follow, but Probably I should know what HT is. Certainly I do not. Harm touch. I should know what that is for sure. Yes, harm touch. So that's okay. Shadow Match, of course, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Harm touch is also in EverQuest 2. So I should have been familiar with that one for sure. Ah, been attacked by the Shadow Knight, exactly what I wanted. Also, I probably ought to rebuff our here in a minute. The Will-O-Wisp doesn't really seem to do a lot, from what I can tell. But it just is a little more difficult to hit. I think it's a little more evasive than other things. Just miss a lot. Dodgy, you know? Dan says, I played EQ2 for a little bit. I think I was a fairy summoner. It was fun, just didn't keep me hooked. Interesting. So depending on when you started, it will have had a different overall feel to it. Sounds like you definitely started after Echoes of Fador came out, if you were playing a fairy. Now, Summoner is going to either be a Conjurer or a Necromancer, depending on if you were playing as good or evil. It's to me, I really enjoy the questing there. It has so much storyline and just so much. I mean, if you would call it world building, perhaps, it definitely is very good at that. So I have characters on live that I'm not really playing on there. And then I also have characters on Origins, and then I made a character on Uoshi as well, the free trade that came out recently. Dan says it was a new class at the time. A new class? Probably, I suspect it would have been a new... well, okay. That's not entirely true. If you had a Beast Lord, it's not a summoner, but it does have a pet. And the Beast Lord came out much later. Not D9693 says, what's up, y'all? What's up, not D? Ferrari noted. Could be either one. Dan says, it was something else, a new class that was quite unique and fun. Probably the Beast Lord. If you were thinking of it as a summoner, Beast Lord definitely did come out later on. And it's an interesting thing all around, the Beast Lord character. Okay, this one is a Necromancer, so let's throw some dots and stuff on him. We've got our Priest over there. That doesn't sound fun either. Let's, this one's a Warrior. Let's throw some attack speed debuff on him. Then let's see about maybe killing the Priest. That seems like a good idea. Eldritch says, I enjoyed EQ2 a lot. I played with Goliath a lot. Yeah, it's a good game. It was a very good game many years ago, and again, I've really enjoyed Origins quite a lot as well. So if you miss that old time feel of the game, where things were a lot more difficult and not, you know, and not so repetitious, then I do suggest trying out EverQuest 2 Origins. Hemlock says, evening y'all. To me, best part of EQ2 was doing the challenges for the classic items. Ah, yes, you're talking about the Heritage Quests. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like the Heritage Quests, and the, and just really truly, the quests in general in EverQuest 2 are great. And I was expecting a lot more of that kind of thing in EverQuest 1, so whenever I started playing EverQuest Legends, I was like looking for the quests, you know? I'm thinking this is the precursor to EverQuest 2, and that it would therefore have a lot of quests like EverQuest 2 does. That was very incorrect, I've found so far. Definitely, that's my favorite part of EverQuest 2, I think. And then you say, or collecting, sure, you can collect, and the crafting is very good in EverQuest 2. I've never seen another game with as good of crafting by any stretch of the imagination as EverQuest 2 has, or it's as complicated as far as that goes. I would say probably Star Wars Galaxies was more complicated, but I think that EverQuest 2 is the most I don't know how I would describe it, but the best in general. You feel like you're playing a game because it's like a fight, but with the crafting table, you know. So it's pretty cool. But this has its own appeal, certainly. It's very, very different, and it's something that I've had to be getting used to. I don't know how to be with grouping yet. I think it could be interesting, especially in these little areas like this where I'm filling up the entire screen and forgot to put my buffs back on, and now my skeleton buff wore off. Probably I'll want to do something about that. And I don't know, maybe turn around and kill the guys I'm fighting just as a change of pace. For some reason, I was looking for somewhere to go sit down and put some buffs back on. Man, I'll tell you what, it's rough in me. Hemlock says EQ had a ton of quests, they just never showed you who had quests. Okay, so now, yes, but I think that your definition of a ton and my definition of a ton are not the same in this. Because, okay, so to give you an example, in EverQuest 2, I have a friend who has completed over 5,000 quests with, this is just with one character, over 5,000 quests. So, there's a difference, right? Like, there are a few quests that I've found so far in here, and you talk to all the people and you figure that out. But I find that there's not very many compared to, in EverQuest 2, man, it's just one right after another, you know? Let's see, I see. You just said to hell everyone and called the dialogue. Yeah. Dan says I was totally off. I was a Chandler. So Chandler was a new quest too. Okay, so that was significantly later than when Greater Fate Out came out. Chandler's definitely different. Leather wearing weird priest. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. A lot of fun. Yeah. Rotax says also dabbled in EQ2 and even rated some. Swashbuckler main. Lock and Inquisitor alts, good times, but not the same EQ one. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, different strokes for different folks, for sure, you know. But yeah, I mean, and another thing that just for me was really, I would say the thing that really got me interested in EverQuest 2 was the very first time that I saw it. It was like that it was loaded up. My ex-husband had purchased the game against my wishes, and he was loading it up, and there was like the cinematic at the beginning, and it was very well done at the time, and it was very cool. And then following that up, we went straight from this super cool cinematic into this boat ride. And it was like, I don't know, I can't really even describe it to you in the way that it was. But you just load in on this boat, and there's, music, and it's very immersive immediately. And then there was just one quest right after another, and then I remember the first time I went to Thundering Steps. The music was so cool. It was so orchestral. It was like, it was very good, very well done, and you could tell that a lot of effort had been put into it. Dan says it had just come out when we tried EQ2. Duoed with a mage type when I played and had good synergy. Yeah, so if it had just come out, then you were probably, you load in as an adventurer. And then at level 9, you would choose your class. And so you would be like mage, priest, scout, or fighter. And then at level 19, well, there was like a test you had to do. You had to pass that. And then at level 19, you had to choose your subclass and perform a test to get past that as well. And it was pretty cool. I really liked that part of it. There were a lot of good things to like for me with Everquest 2. And like I said, when I started this, I really didn't know what I was getting into, the Everquest Legends. And I kind of thought I would have some idea how to play it because of the fact that I have played Everquest 2 for so long. But as it turns out, it's very dissimilar. So it's a whole different thing going on here. Dan says, yep, only did it on 2 characters. I remember that. We played for like 6 months. Gotcha. Were you, do you remember by any chance, and I know this is a stretch, but do you have any idea which server you were on? Well, that didn't work at all. Let's see if we can decrease some of the damage coming in from this ice boom skeleton over here. So since I'm beating up the Shadow Knight, let's try getting the Ghoul to do a bit less damage. I guess I may as well beat up the Shadow Knight. He's going down pretty easily. Alright. Fortunately, I'm doing a lot of dodging, so all is well. Don't really want to kill the ghoul pet, I'd rather kill the ghoul. And then we have here, he's a warrior mage anyway, so he's gotta go. Looks like we have 3 different kinds of keys. I think the smoked glass one is the one that I don't have many of. So I'll store this one and this one, and then I'll loot this one. Maybe not, because I may have, yeah, my inventory room is full here. That's a shame. Alright, what can I get rid of? There's 1 smoked glass key there, so you don't actually have to take this one. But what I can do is I can take this splintered wooden key, and I can bring it over here to the destroy thing, and we destroy it and we get a copper from it. So you're trading it in for money, you're not trading it in for a lot of money. We'll destroy this one as well, and so we'll keep 4 of the splintered wooden ones and 4 of the charred bone ones, and then we have this smoked glass one, and in a moment, oh, actually we already had another smoked glass one, so I guess I'm pretty good on those, honestly. But let's do like so. Something akin to organization of the bags. Then we'll go ahead and loot this. I don't see any reason to have more than 4 of any of them, really. Let's go ahead and move that over here, actually, so that it's like this. So, there we are. We made a little bit more room. Rotax says, looks like the EQL name reserve happens when you first log in and create a character on July 1st. Yes, I thought so. I wonder if you closed beta players already have yours. No. I think everybody gets it simultaneously, as far as I know. Dan said they can't remember, we just stick to ourselves when we played, so server name wasn't memorable. Understand. Ooh, is it, let's see. A Hugin? A Hugin says, as far as I know, you only need one of each of the 3 keys if you're fallen. Doesn't it use them whenever you, open a door with them? I think that it does. If not, then, I mean, I've got plenty of keys I could sell, but I think it uses them all. Rotax says, I don't think you need more than one of those keys. Can anyone else confirm? They're not consumed as far as I know. Maybe next time I get to one of the doors, I can remember to try that. Okay. Hugin says, no, they're saved. And Dan confirms they're not used up. Well, hey then, may as well not be running around with all of these. And in fact, I can set it to auto sell if that's the case. Let's destroy this, or yeah, no, I don't see any reason that I would want them. The only reason that I might would want them, if I was keeping the character, I might want them so that I could sell them. Somebody might want to buy them, I don't know. But otherwise, let's just get rid of all these extra keys. It would be nice if we could, like, select more than one thing at a time. Like, if we could just, like, press control and do it, but it doesn't work like that. Rotex says, I think there are no trade. Well, let's see what it says here, if it tells us anything. It doesn't say that there are no trade. Let's Alt and click it. I'm not sure. It has no indication of whether it's tradable or not. Hugin says, isn't there a space for all the keys? I don't know, is there? Let's see. I know there's something called a keyring, but I don't know if the keyring actually holds keys. Let's see if we can find it. Storage? No, not storage. We've got inventory. The pad isn't there. Stats, loadouts, storage. This is unfortunate. I feel like I know there was something called a keyring, but I don't. Is it okay? Let's try it on skills. It just opens this. Let's try going to the EQL button here. We got actions. Dan says no keyring yet from what I heard. Now see, there was definitely a button that said keyring because I clicked it before, and that's how I got to something. Somebody walked me through how to do it a couple of weeks ago, but that time has passed and my memory is not very great. What is Spandelier though? Oh, okay. Interesting. Let's go back there. GTSRV says the keyring is storage now, I think. Okay, so they changed the title of it. Rotex says I was a rogue working on lockpick the last time I was in that zone. My lockpick doesn't seem to open these. Oh, there. Okay, so we do have a bandolier. How entertaining. Okay. Dan says in regular EQ, there is one that once you use a key, it's added and you can delete the physical one, but yeah, not in EQL yet. GTSRV said that the keyring is storage now, I think. And Hugin says maybe they didn't add it yet and you just have to hold them in your bag for now, but you only need one of each and they stay on you forever. Try /keyring, sure. Let's do /keyring. Not a valid command. Please use help. What if we do /key? /key did something. No idea what. This is almost certainly not what I want, though. This is achievements. It's cool. All right. Let's try slash ream. No slash ream. Dan says, oh, bandolier, that's great. Hugan says, that's it. Wait, what's it? Ha, hold on. Was it the bandolier? Surely not. Let's go back to wherever I found that. It was right here. And you think this, let's click add. Interbandolier set name. Haven't a clue. What, I see range. I assume this is for, I mean, you would think it would be like, okay, I see something about wizards. I can't actually read these. I have no idea what they say. It looks like it says, no idea. I see ammo and something weapon. I don't know. Brotex says that's it, was referring to slash key. Hugan says it shows all the keys you have. They're saved. Okay, let's go back there. Slash keys. They're saved in achievements now. Someone told me they're saved on the account. Dan says, interesting if that's how they did it via achievements. I'd hold on to keys for now. They're right, for sure. Hugan says I was talking about slash key. Brotag says bandolier is used for ranged ammo and arrows. I would think so, being a bandolier, but I can't actually read what it says. It looked like it said something about wizard something and mage something. Dan says bandolier is just how you change your primary slash secondary slash ranged. Click on one of them, please. Sure. One of these. This says the key unlocks the elevator that leads to the inner sanctum of New Peniel. Full key, Islands of Sky keys. Freedy's keys. This does not seem to be this kind of key. I can try. We've got untapped potential. Okay, so this is just different achievements. Let's see. What if we click complete? No, we want to click off the other things. So none of them are complete. Dan says looks like just raid slash end game keys. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. All right, now as far as this goes, we have no way to see. Range weapon, maybe. Maybe it's melee weapon and range weapon and ammo, and then maybe another melee weapon. So I guess this is so that you could switch different sets of weapons out easily, quickly, perhaps. Auto swap, I see. It's a hot button, activate, maybe. Hugan says, okay, maybe that's not it. I was watching a video where a guy said they're saving the account. I'm not sure how. Dan says, try clicking add. Sure. Enter bandolier set name. Let's call it, I have no idea. Ask for name and save your current weapon set. Basic. Alright. And so yes, it did save what we currently have. So now if I wanted to switch, I could theoretically just come to a different one, put it on, then go back here and switch to it, or I could make a hot button and then have the basic thing say over here on this or something like that. That's pretty cool. That's definitely a good quality life item to have, for sure. No Mortal says, is your voice volume low or is it just me? No idea. My voice volume is not low, but someone was saying that the game volume is high. Maybe I can turn it up some though. Let me see here. Tell me if this helps or not. If I turn that up to here, does that work better? All right, let's go forward in this little hallway. Now I'll notice that guy did not attack me until I initially started casting the mute. I missed something here. I think. I guess I should also click buttons on here while I'm reading this. Rotax says, Dan is right, you can set 4 weapon sets in that bandolier for when you may be switching damage types for certain enemies or events. Probably not too useful with the EQL loadouts. Oh, but it may be though, because the loadouts are getting different different classes of characters, and I would think, say, you are on the same character, but you just want different gear on, you know, for whatever reason. Dan says, cool. Yep, looks like it's working in game. Appreciate you testing the bandolier. No problem. Dan says, useful for switching between dual wield and sword and board. Right, that would make sense, sure. Or weapons with different procs. Yeah, I would think so. Very cool. Alright, so you can hear me better. Awesome. Good to know. MP says, oh, they changed it from /keyring. Yeah. Yeah, I know that it had definitely on one of the pages said keyrings prior, and it didn't actually know what it was at the time because I didn't have any keys whenever I saw that button, but it does make sense that you would put keys on the keyring, right? But I don't see that button now, or maybe it's on a page that I didn't click on, and I can't say for sure on that. Dan says, or for a bard, berserker, shaman, switching to two-hander versus dual wield, sure. MP says, oh, it's under character storage. All right. /character. Will that work? No, that doesn't work. Okay, no bueno. So we'll go to inventory and then storage here. And yes, this you can put equipment in here. I've never tried putting a key in here. Let's see if we can do it. If we can take out, say, let's take out these pants here, and then see if we can put in a key. No, we can't. Only equipment items being placed in the equipment keyring. So it is still calling it a keyring here. It's just calling it equipment keyring. Interesting. So then there's also activated items. I was looking at that earlier. I don't know what an activated item is because I tried putting different things in here and I was not able to stick anything in. Like, I tried things like this Mystic Doll. It won't go in. Activated items, you know, what would that include? One would think an item that can be activated. But apparently, you know, like I tried putting, like the flute in and things like that. See, it won't go. It says only activated items will be placed in the activated queue. Now, maybe, see, this is a focus exaltation that it has. Maybe if it's a click effect, would it then go in there? I'm certain of that. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys knows. Let's see here. MP says yes. Okay. Hugin says there's a tab up top that says storage. Right. Sure. That's the one I'm on, or that it was on. This is that top, and then there's this storage as well. It seemed last time I was in here, it only held currency. It was called the currency window previously, but now it's called storage. Maybe it holds, or maybe it holds the keys. Let's check. It doesn't. They're not going in anyway. And if you look down here, it says show currencies that you don't have. So as far as I can tell, even though it says storage underneath the storage tab, it still doesn't hold anything except for currency. Oh, look, there's a deposit all button. Let's see if anything goes in. No, nothing did. There's no such button for any of these, though. Colliding Neurons says try put your Skelly amulet in there in the activation tab. Sure. We'll try that. Let's go to activated items. Let's come and find where that is. I think over in inventory, and then I've got to find it. Is this it? This is a medicine bag. So it should work if any click does, right? No, because it's focused. Never mind. Ignore me. Don't know what I'm talking about as usual. See if we can find the thing turning me into a skeleton. Is it this? It is. It's this. Let's take this off. Come over to storage. Go over to activated items. And now let's see if it goes in. It does. Oh boy, now I don't have it on while I'm being attacked by a skeleton. That's fine. Alright, let's take it back out of there. And then see if we can put it back on. I don't know if I can equip something during battle or not. Let's find out. Neck piece? Yes, very good. Could put it on during combat. Who would have guessed, honestly? Alright. Let's see. MP says I don't think you need keys for dungeons anymore, do you? I don't know about needing keys for dungeons. That's not something I know about. The only dungeon that I've been in thus far is this one right here, Befallen. Rotax says, I think those keys will just have to live in your inventory for now, like the good old days. I feel like that's probably the case. I had assumed that they would be consumed as we went through them. But, it works for me if they're not, for sure. In pieces, when I went to Sky, they disappeared after I used them. So they were consumed. Dan says, shouldn't need to take the key out of the bag and use it, but one of the new zones is bugged and they know about it. Colliding Neuron says it works for anything like that has a clicky on it. Yeah, very cool. So it has to be a click effect specifically. Focus effects and things like that do not work. Now this is the bottom of that well. I ran across the well when I first came to Befallen, and then afterward, whenever I've decided to try to jump down the well, I can't find it. I know that it's up on either the first or the second floor, but I can't find it again. It was just, disappeared. There's the bottom of it. Okay, Colliding says, so you can use it without having it in inventory. But yeah, then you can't wear it. Interesting. Yeah, no, I definitely... For now, I think I want to wear it. But that's pretty cool. That means that whenever I get better boots, I could put it in my inventory there, in my storage, and put the better boots on and still have this advantage of the run speed. That's very cool. Thanks for the follow, Colliding. Dan says, have you tried two-handers on this multi-class combo? So I did try it early on. I think I had a two-handed, maybe. I'm not going to say that for sure, because I may be thinking of Everquest 2. I just made a new character on there as well. And it may be that I was trying two-handed on there and not here, so maybe not. Who knows? I don't remember for sure, we'll say that. We're going to auto-store this because it looks like a thing that we maybe could use for something, but probably not for anywhere in here. I really like that you have the dragon sword that you can throw things into whenever you're out and about, and then you have the bank that you can put things in when you're in person. Danny Welch says the Plane of Sky keys become achievements after you use them, replacement for the old keyring. That's awesome. They are planning to do that with Befallen and other dungeon keys in the future. Super cool. So you no longer will have to get these and keep them, but for now, we hang on to them. Very nice. But it's not a big deal because I can just set it to auto sell for the rest of them and keep one copy, and that only takes up a few slots. I'll just have to remember. In fact, I can change that now. I think if I